Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Hope everyone had a great week.
Yes.
Another week.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna take a little break from MK Ultra. That is like, it leaves like this yucky residue when you cover conspiracy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna veer away from CIA conspiracy.
The freaky part about that is it's going on.
Oh God.
It's still going on. Things like that are still going on.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about stuff, just this latest election shows you that there is still, you've heard it called the deep state or any of that. There's still these things going on where it's like a little controlling group inside the government still does what they want to do when they want to do it, and they don't care. And whether and they may be doing it for the good of the nation, which it depends on your objective on that. But
yeah, the good of a few.
But they'll run you right over.
Yeah.
And not care. They'll go home and be able to sleep that night. I mean, the things they did in that last show that we talked about. Were I a party to any of that? I don't think I could sleep at night.
Right.
You know, you have to be, and maybe that's the thing. You have to be, you've heard it said that politicians are almost always sociopath.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to be sociopath to get into that.
Right.
And I think to want to get into those echelons of, secret agent man, you have to be
you can't say secret agent
that.
man. Now I'm going to be singing that song all day. Secret agent man.
I mean, you read about it and they do things. It's almost like they have to be pre-selected from, it's either they become a secret agent man or they get convicted of horrible crimes later on in life. And those are the two paths available to them. Or they can be a lawyer. But maybe a banker. But they could never just sit down and function as a part of society. They could never just be your neighbor, your friend, or any of that. They don't function on that level.
No.
And when I read stuff like that, I wonder, could I do that? Because there's times in your life you wonder, am I a crazy person? You know?
No, actually, I don't.
I do. So anyways.
Anyway, we'll come back to MK Ultra.
Yeah, I want to.
After we have spent enough time in a more positive space.
Yes.
I don't know if today, I guess, yeah, today's subject is going to be.
It's a fun one.
It is a fun one.
Yeah.
But first, weird news.
Yeah, we got to cover some news.
So I saw mine this morning. I actually tagged my niece Taryn, our niece Taryn.
Mm-hmm.
She hates teeth.
Why?
It's her phobia. If you Tucker pulled out a tooth, Taryn lost it. Started throwing up, couldn't look at it, had to leave. She can't stand teeth.
Really?
Yeah, and she can't stand the little hole left from where the tooth was. Well, anyway.
She's had all that, though.
Right.
No, I was there when she lost all her teeth.
So I sent this to her.
Sounded like an old grandpa. No. Remember when Taryn was little?
40-year-old smoker?
She'd scare you. She'd come up behind. Her voice was deeper than mine. She was 1.5 feet tall, probably all of 4. Hey, Uncle Jared. So she would have been a good shoe-in for the crypt keeper. She was the cutest little girl. Had the deepest voice.
Yeah, she did.
It's a good thing it normaled out now.
That's right. I sent this to her. The headline reads, over 500 teeth removed from 7-year-old's jaw.
Oh. Were any of them in like the roof of the mouth? Because I've seen that before too. How do they remove them?
So it took over 5 hours.
Do they have to like flay the head open?
Yeah,
and then just do and then sew it back up
like a taco,
taco face,
like Presley's taco face doll. I still have nightmares about poor Abby. Anyway, Chennai, India, a little boy had to have 526 teeth taken out of his mouth. You can see the video online. I'm looking at it at abc4.com. But they were in his jaw. It doesn't say upper or lower, but they could see in the x-rays and CT scans that he had all of these anomalies in his jaw.
Yeah, in the x-rays it looked like they were mostly in the lower jaw.
Well, you would think, I mean, maybe just gravity-wise, they all kind of...
Well, the way teeth, don't they grow underneath each other? Like there's some natural pockets, and then they grow, and then those pockets kind of seal up.
Correct.
Underneath.
So the teeth were as small as a millimeter, up to about a half an inch.
Up to a half an inch.
Yeah.
On a little boy.
Yeah. So, but even the smallest piece, as they looked at it underneath the microscope, had a crown, root, and enamel. So they weren't pockets of just a bone anomaly. They were actual teeth.
So this kid had
526 removed. He still had a full set. So he had 540 teeth.
Man, that's what happens when you breed with a shark, people.
I can't even. I can't even.
Oh.
And the reason he went to the dentist was because he was having some jaw pain. Can you imagine?
Hard to believe. It's shocking, really. It's, yeah. Oh.
All of that.
Poor little guy.
Poor guy.
All right. Well, I want to talk about the art of love.
The art. Yes, it's an art.
So we're going to Ireland right now.
Oh.
So I guess that that marital aids have been around for a minute. They're not new. So something come about on Twitter, I guess. I'm reading from the Mirror. This week has seen an example of both sex aids, marital aids, or dildos, and social media kind of connect.
Well,
there was an ivory phallus made in the 1840s. That's a long time ago.
and it's out of ivory.
It's made out of ivory. So it's got that natural elephantine curve to it. So anyways, so this ivory phallus, it sits in an ornate wooden box with a glass cover on it, velvet inside so it cradles it gently, right? And the velvet is that maroon velvet. I mean,
yes.
It's
royal.
all out.
It's royal.
And this was probably, had to have been royal. I mean, the box itself is awesome. But anyways, and it's got a little nub on the end of it, like you could hang it off of jewelry. I don't know. It's got an
Carry it
odd
around
little
on a
nub.
keychain.
You could. That'd be a hell of a keychain.
Listen, that's got to be the polling device.
I guess it looks like it's about 1.5 feet long.
Oh, Lord.
So if you've got to get to where you need an extra 3 inches to pull out, there might be some other damages you need to look into next. Like leave it in; it might be stopping the bleeding. Okay,
He needs
like
to come with a warning
like
label.
you know the stories where you get hit by a car and you're pinned against a wall, and they're like, "Don't back the car out because you'll die." That's what this would be if you go that far in. But anyway, so this item got sold.
It was for sale?
Yeah, it got sold, and this lady was bummed out. She felt it should stay in Ireland as a museum piece. I bet museums are jumping all over that. But so she saw that it came up for sale again, so she jumped on Twitter and said, "Help, I want to buy this Irish phallus and bring it back to Ireland." So she got like a GoFundMe type thing set up, and it was bought, and it's back home in Ireland for the pride of the Irish. So,
Oh, goodness.
1840. And we'll put a picture of it up on the
YouTube video.
Yeah, up on the tubes.
We'll put.
Yeah, it's sold for. I don't know what the E means. It's the difference.
Euros.
Yeah, euros. 3,200 euros.
Oh, so it wasn't cheap.
No, this is and the lady who did it, her name is Sexiopa.
Wow, how convenient.
I know. And just looking at her little thumbnail picture, screams Irish.
Some people.
She's a beautiful lady.
Some people you can tell are Irish.
Her hair couldn't get any redder.
My sweet granddaughter.
Oh my goodness, yes.
If it weren't for her beautiful brown complexion, could totally be Irish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hair couldn't get any redder.
No.
I also want to do a kind of an honorable mention, just some funny stories I came about. There is a GoFundMe for a pumpkin chunkin'. A guy wants to build a medieval trebuchet to chunk his pumpkin. It's where they throw pumpkins for distance.
So he wants to build a trebuchet?
A medieval one, and it looks awesome.
Have people been donating to this?
It's on GoFundMe. Yes, he's raised $700.
Oh.
He wants to raise $3,500. So if anyone has any kind of nostalgic interest in trebuchets.
Or pumpkin chunkin'.
Yeah. Yeah, and both of those are, I'm going to go and give $10 twice. I like both of those things. But let's get him up there. I want to see this on there. And then, of course, we got to talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Ay.
Which ties in. I honestly think he might...
With pumpkin chunkin'.
Asshole chunkin'. I wish I had a trebuchet to try on him. Anyways, I think he ties in a lot with the Midnight Climax type deal.
So
I honestly, looking at it, as many politicians and well-to-do people, I think there has
to be an element of blackmail in maintaining the cover that he has for as many years as he has.
And I think now that some of those people are faded out of notoriety, and the new people are probably going to, Jeffrey Epstein 2.0, who will find out who that is as they start to fade.
Sure.
This guy's allowed to take the fall. Like, what if all those politicians from the 90s, it comes out, they were all one of his customers. They're all dying. Yeah, what are they going to do?
They don't care.
And we haven't touched on it yet, but we're going to do a show on the Clinton kill list. And, but anyways, Epstein, a couple days ago, was found in his cell. Looked like he had either attempted suicide or someone had tried to kill him.
Is this an update to that? Have they declared what his statement to those events are?
They haven't declared his statement so much. His cellmate has said two different stories. The guards have said a couple of different stories. So there's a lot of confusion there. But
with a simple suicide attempt, I promise you, there's no confusion. Cellmate would say, yeah, hung himself.
My opinion is, I think they need to protect him right now.
Just so we can torture him longer.
No, we need to know how deep this goes.
Yeah.
If we're going to defend this republic, we need to know what is going on. We need to find out who he passed the torch to.
Do you think he would give that up?
It's time. I don't care. It's time to tear this dark government down.
I don't think he's trained military and can withstand torture. Perhaps.
Torture doesn't give you anything, though. Torture gives you what they think you want to hear. Torture's proven to be worthless.
But not torture in the sense of like physical torture, but torture in the sense of like, you don't get any extra favors.
Like put him in prison with a little tiny window next to a Catholic school.
Well, no, just like he gets
Catholic,
bread and water.
A Catholic girls' school, so he has to just oh,
Yeah.
and then give him the opposite of Viagra, so he can't even enjoy looking out the window as much, but he's forced to. Got his eyes taped open like on old cartoons, and he has to. Yeah, no, this guy's creepy. Anyways, so this is a story that comes out of Crime Online. Might be BS, might not. Jeffrey Epstein wanted a baby ranch. So when you hear baby ranch, what do you think it is?
I don't know where my mind goes with that. I mean, if you say Jeffrey Epstein and baby ranch in the same, I would guess it would be like an adoption kind of scam where he was, having women come deliver babies and then selling them.
Yeah.
If you say baby ranch, with anyone other than Jeffrey Epstein, I think of like kangaroos and stuff. Like someone just wants to sell baby stuff, like baby animals.
Oshkosh,
like
ranch.
Yeah, like baby pandas, baby kangaroos. I don't know where my mind goes.
Well, anyway, so we're gonna go to New Mexico. It's a nice vista.
In United States?
Oh yeah, he owns a ranch in New Mexico, and this is where he wanted to do it. It's a nice vista. You've got pens. Remember those round pens where they have that one gate, so it's easier to drive the cattle up into trucks?
Yep.
You still got round pens, but the ramps that lead them into the trucks instead lead into limousines. And he wanted to have women there, 20 at a time, so that he could impregnate them and improve the human race with his superior DNA.
Okay.
So
he doesn't know much about women's cycles. I mean, it's not like you could round up
about women's cycles.
20 women and just impregnate them all in a round pen.
Don't when you I may be speaking out of turn. When women are together, don't they kind of align?
Sure, if they're together for long periods of time.
How long would you need?
6 months, 7 months.
Okay, so you have 12 round pens.
He's keeping these women in. His idea was to keep these women in round pens?
No, I'm just freeballing it right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Jeffrey
you got these round pens. Women out there. It sounds kind of like a chicken farm, I think. But anyways, so you got these round pens, right?
Uh-huh.
And you've got the January pen.
Oh.
Okay. So January is when you filled it. And then you feed them February. You want to keep them on a good diet. And then 6-7 months, come July, they're ready to go. And the limo pulls up to July, and Epstein walks out looking like Tom Cruise on Top Gun, got the glasses on, he's a jerk off. Walks in, impregnates all them. And then the next month, he goes to the August pen. You see where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going with this.
But yeah, so I didn't read the whole story. The guy disgusts me. He does. Anybody who would...
So he was thinking that he was superior?
Oh, yeah. Anybody who will subject children, like these teenage girls, they may have already had a rough life. And so you would subject him to more of that, and
he's a dirtbag.
I have no tolerance for him, but I do think we need to find out how deep this goes.
Yeah. I think if there's anything to glean from him, it needs to be.
I mean, we need to find out. Does any of this have to do with foreign trade deals? Does any of this have to do with war? Here's
the problem. My concern is the people charged with finding this stuff out.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be done on foreign soil, by people that their only interest is in finding justice.
What foreign soil doesn't have this? We'd have to take it out of the hands of government.
Exactly. It would have to be placed outside of people that are in positions of power that could have utilized this so that you can get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there's got to be some way. Maybe that's where AI needs to go. We need to have AI investigators, computer investigators.
Oh.
It's
got no precepts. It's got no personal preferences, no
and
biases.
And it doesn't go home, because like I wouldn't want to question him.
Although
I'd go home with PTSD.
I'd
go home. I would run out of water in my house from all the showers I had to take just listening to his stories.
Yeah, I think therein lies the problem with a lot of these investigations. Is, I mean, who wants to do this? Anyway, fun stuff today.
Okay, fun stuff.
Speaking
of baby ranches.
Speaking of baby ranches, Earth may be one. We're going to talk about panspermia.
Oh.
And at first I was like, panspermia? That sounds like a seedy love novel. But if you look it up...
or a tangy breakfast.
If you look it up...
It tastes like chlorine.
If you look it up, pan means all. Mm-hmm. And sperma means seed. So it's all seed. And what initially...
And we have touched on this in a couple of previous shows.
Right. Just the idea that we were seeded from space. So panspermia is literally the hypothesis that proposes that microscopic life forms that were able to survive the effects of space were trapped in debris, ejected into space after ejected. They can't use that word. I can't use that word. Into space after collisions between planets and small solar system bodies. And this life traveled and then smashed into other planets, bringing forth that life. So what initially got me interested in covering this was I came across this study that was highlighted in Newsweek. And the study is about octopi. Mm-hmm. And it suggests that cephalopod eggs could not, based on their DNA and RNA, they're so different. Octopi are absolutely worlds away from being anything what Earth is.
Well, from being anything else on Earth.
Exactly. Everything else on Earth can all be connected through their RNA and their DNA, with the exception of octopi. So,
what about squid?
Even squid. Octopi is the only one. So it is postulated that cephalopod eggs or octopus eggs travel to Earth on a comet.
I still want to call them octopussies.
We should vote to change that. So.
Oh, if we're voting to change stuff, I've got a lot of stuff. Let's take away daylight savings time.
That's right. So 33 scientists from respected institutions all over the world have really come together, and the only suggestion that fit any kind of theory is that these bizarre creatures descended from organic alien material. And not like alien like gray alien, but alien as in like off the planet.
Yeah, alien.
So comets are mostly water.
Usually, yes.
So for so many thousands and thousands of years, we've been hit by comets. And it is suggested that eggs of this
or maybe
cephalopod,
their ancestor?
Yeah, were riding the white comet.
Oh.
Boom, hit the Earth. Octopi, octopussies.
Now, is a cuttlefish a squid or an octopi?
I don't think a cuttlefish is either.
Have you ever seen the hypnotic cuttlefish?
They're so gross.
No, they're beautiful. They look like an octopus, but its color it looks like you're tripping.
Okay, I don't think octopi are beautiful.
We'll have to put a video of that up.
I think they are creepy.
Have you ever heard of a tardigrade?
No.
Okay, some call them water bears. You can buy them, but apparently tardigrade can survive in outer space vacuum.
So they've actually been able to, in recent years, test different types of amoebas, bacteria. For instance, mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Mushrooms can live in a vacuum.
Tardigrades are little animals, little multicell organisms.
And so
they call them water bears.
So they've been able to determine some. I mean, as much as we can with our current knowledge base of the universes, univae. We've literally, it's like we are a speck of sand and trying to study as the speck of sand all the other specks of sand in the beach. Yeah. So this hypothesize. We're changing all of these today. Basically says under certain ideal impact circumstances, for instance, into a body of water, with ideal conditions on a new planet's surface, it is absolutely possible that surviving organisms could become active and begin to colonize their new environment. So we are 1% different than a chimpanzee.
Okay. Well, you are.
What if that 1%...
I'm a little closer.
...has to do with the other material that was with us when we collided into Earth?
So you're... Okay, what you're asking is chimpanzee was already here?
No, chimpanzee was also a separation of particulate.
So this has taken the idea of evolution out and putting in that we collided and all started at like a zero mark?
Well, perhaps there was still some evolution, but there had to have been a split somewhere for that 1% to the idea is if chimpanzees can barely learn sign language. I mean, some of the smartest know a few hundred words in sign language. Mm-hmm. But humans can build the Hubble telescope.
Some humans can.
Yeah. that 1% is so unique that what if where we came from in outer space was only 1% more than us? What would that look like? It would be like them talking to worms.
Oh, you mean if there was 1% more than us in outer space?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not talking us and chimps. We're talking that would be vast difference.
Exactly.
No.
Because that 1% here is so vastly different. What if where we originated is even 1% more?
Oh, yeah.
And then the idea that we are the only planet that would have received any of this particulate is absurd and egocentric.
Here's the next big question. So it depends on how that particulate got sent. If that particulate got sent, say, during a tragedy, like a meteorite hit a planet that was a planet like ours, a water...
Like Mars used to be.
Holding planet. Yeah, they say Mars used to be that way. Some people argue against it. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. But what if the means for that to get off of there wasn't a tragedy that destroyed the planet?
Right.
And that evolution stayed evolving.
Yes. That's the big question is... Was it a complete destruction and redistribution?
Yeah.
Or just merely a
Yeah,
it'll buff out kind of.
So the idea
Ding.
of panspermia is, if we go into mythology about our solar system, there was an extra planet between us and Mars. Actually, in some of them there were two. I think one of them was called Magog, and it struck Earth, early Earth, and kind of combined with Earth, and then blew the moon off, and the moon got trapped there. The moon has apparently the same, atomic makeup as Earth does. It's just not big enough to contain an atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And so the moon is a piece of us that got thrown out from another planet hitting us. In some of the mythologies, like when we talked about Nibiru, that was there was a planet before that struck and destroyed a planet that sat there that was big and made Earth, Moon, and Mars. Mars contained life after that, but Mars' atmosphere got blown away either by the evolution of the species that lived there, or a solar flare hit it, blew the atmosphere away. I happen to believe that its molten core chilled, slowed down, stopped the magnetic field. The magnetic field is what defends the atmosphere. It's just going to naturally get blown
Kind of
away
like
without
it's
the
just started
magnetic field.
dying.
Yeah, the magnetic field is a sci-fi shield, like on Star Trek or Star Wars. It's a shielding that defends our... So if our molten core stopped, wouldn't be long, our atmosphere would get blown away, melted away. And then there's theory that Venus at one time could have contained life. But that one, our sun would have had to have been much smaller, much cooler for that to happen. Venus would be too hot regardless, just because of where it sits in the solar system. And Mars, I think, sits too far out to ever honestly have hosted life as we know it.
Right. And I think that's the idea, is that if there was some cataclysmic event that sent particulate in several directions, that there likely could have been different evolutions of... it
depends on what planet they land on,
exactly. So there's a secondary theory that's kind of pseudo-panspermia, which argues that not entire amoebas, but more of a prebiotic building block that originated in space,
like amino acid base.
Correct. So it wasn't completely formed, but all of the pieces would have been present, or most of the pieces would have been present, and then introduced to carbon and other things to create the presence of life. Even in that case, there's so much out there that this could be happening all the time to. There's so many planets in universi,
yes,
that this could be happening on, that it is absurd to think that, and egocentric, like I said, to think that we are the only life form.
It would be, if we're the only life form in the cosmos, that would be probably the most shocking revelation that we could have, just because of how big it is. It'd be such a... but I want to bring it full circle and come back to trebuchets. So trebuchets. I want to go to the alien world, where the Greys are running around.
Okay. Because, see, now, what type of environment could these building blocks have landed on that would have created gray aliens? And what if they got more than 1% of that strange matter?
Yeah. Now,
and that's why they're so far advanced.
Well, here's what they're doing. They fly their flying saucers out, right? And they catch a meteorite. And their flying saucer, they have a space station with a big trebuchet on it. They catch a meteorite and drag it to that space station and set it down on the little guide ramp that the trebuchet sits on, right?
Okay.
And then they throw a whole bunch of the amino acid or octopussy's eggs or whatever on that meteorite. And then they
pumpkin chunk it.
Pull the lever and whoosh, throw it out into space.
Maybe it's an event for the Greys.
Oh, it's like Super Bowl.
It's like pumpkin chunking.
Yeah.
Where they all get together and they see who can pumpkin chunk their life forms the furthest.
Yeah. And they're like, I'm going to hit that solar system way over there.
We've solved it.
Yep.
We've solved it.
Yep.
So I think the other theory that's most interesting to me is the intentional panspermia.
That's the one. Ooh. Yeah.
Where a planet was identified. So say there was some kind of interspace
like
explosion.
Let's say
this super intelligent hybrid alien race is on planet Nebula or whatever.
Yeah.
And they
Uranus, obviously.
And they understand because they've gained more of that 1% of the secret sauce. And so they create a
For those
species.
of you outside of Utah, secret sauce is ketchup and mayo together.
Yes.
That is secret sauce.
But it's got to have a little bit of pickle juice for it to be considered fry sauce. Anyway,
I like putting pepper on mine.
What if they created the building blocks for all of the different... So they create dinosaurs. Boom, dinosaurs are blown off the planet. So they're like, oh, crap.
Maybe they see... Like right now we see those movies and stuff come out where there's an asteroid coming in.
Yes.
It's going to hit in 3 years. So let's hurry up and try to send life out into the universe.
Well, what if they're just...
That eventually they'll become us. Because we don't have the technology to get ourselves to anywhere of any abundance to survive. But we can try make an easier shot at life by trying to spread the building blocks of life as far and as wide as we can.
Well, and we're thinking from the brains we have. But what if...
That might be a problem.
What if they don't see life as life? What if they see life as a combination of cells and...
That's what I'm saying. They just throw life out. Just want to guarantee...
What if they were mapping the stars and mapping the asteroids and mapping the comets, and it was a very intentional... They knew that, this comet was going to pass through this system, passing close enough to this planet that looked like a green planet, and they wanted to propagate the building blocks of their cells there.
It was a planet within a Goldilocks zone, so they can... Well, they've even talked about just being able to paint an asteroid to change its direction.
Yes.
Just paint one half of it to make that half absorb more light.
That would be a terrible
job. To push it. Well, you'd use a rattle can, obviously.
But
some guy in a spacesuit.
We're just now starting to understand how many threats there are. I mean, right now...
I don't even think we're starting to understand yet. I think it's still such a... Well, the space is so huge. We can't watch all of it.
It's so vast. And I don't think we even understand the pathways that a lot of these, I don't know what you'd call them, space projectiles, because they're not always an asteroid.
Debris.
Yeah. But there are, right now, I looked on NASA's website this morning, there are 1,785 that are potential threats.
Yeah, well, there was one in May that came between the distance of us and the moon. And it was, I think it was they did it in kilometers, like 3 kilometers long.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is in order for them to be considered...
closer than the moon comes to us.
Yeah, and for them to be even considered a potential threat, they have to be longer, or 3 kilometers or longer.
Well, even then, if you were NASA, you would have to struggle with this. If you were NASA and you saw a potential strike, would it be better to keep quiet about it?
What do you do?
Or would you tell everyone?
Yeah.
Because imagine the ensuing chaos if you told everyone.
Well, and then outside of that, we're talking there's solar flares, there's radiation bursts, there could be supernova explosions, gamma stars. I mean,
black holes.
Our time,
antimatter.
People, is absolutely, it's anyone's guess. But it could be over 2 seconds from now. So panspermia is an interesting theory.
Well, let's talk about the tardigrade for a minute. The tardigrade is cute.
The tardigrade.
It has 6 legs. It's a little fatty.
See, I don't do anything with more than 2.
It may have 8 legs. 8 legs. It's a little fatty. Its legs are fat. Doesn't have spider legs.
I'm looking at it. It is not cute.
It's cute. It has a little fat head and a little fat mouth.
It looks like
a water bear.
Dandruff.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Like dandruff with legs, people.
Now, it's a little multi-cell organism, but it can survive in the vacuum of space. It can survive the heat of volcanoes.
You think we developed from tardigrade?
It has such an extreme span of life. I think if we were to try to send life out, tardigrade would be what I would try to send.
Why would you want to recreate that?
It's got a little cute fat head.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. I think the only question I have about panspermia and the entire theory is the amount of species that we have on this planet, and we're literally at 1/3 of what we once had.
If you're thinking like aliens, do you think on the planet the Greys are from, do you think that they're the only species? They probably have cows. They probably have.
Can you imagine
chickens and
what their cows and chickens look like?
Well, they're awful interested in ours. They're
maybe
probably wondering.
Tardigrade is on the gray alien planet. Maybe that is a cow.
What if
it's the size of a cow?
What if the aliens took a cow and crossbred it with their cow and made tardigrades?
I can't even handle it.
Tardigrade, Greek for alien cow.
Greek for alien cow.
But the tardigrade I've always found interesting because they have found it to survive in the most extreme conditions. Like this thing, you could probably pop it on a meteorite, shoot it out into space. It'd land, and as long as it landed somewhere that had any kind of nutritional environment, it'd survive. And then maybe evolve.
To what?
Maybe us.
Please tell me I don't come from that.
Oh, I'm sure we do. I'm sure that's a step in our evolution, or a cousin to a step in our evolution.
So another hypothesis, because this could take outside of life forms, there is an idea that this panspermia could also be indicated or contraindicated for outbreaks of illnesses on Earth.
Ooh.
So, for instance, the 1918 flu pandemic, outbreaks of polio and mad cow disease have all been coincided closely with really close comet interaction.
Well, the 1918 flu pandemic, my opinion, is because of World War I. Where it happened, all that death, all that horror being thrown into the ground, and stack on top of that, Europe was starved.
Yeah, the flu virus is it's not really bacterial or microbial.
No, what you did is you weakened
the immune system. Yes.
You weakened the people, and then they were susceptible. I mean, they call it the Spanish flu, but the Spanish flu killed more people than World War I did.
That's true. That's true. Another one that's been speculated is HIV came from outer space.
That was monkeys in the CIA. Come on. It could have. HIV is a complicated one, and that's one of those subjects where if you're going to touch it, it better be with an 11-foot pole, because everyone has an opinion and everyone gets angry if your opinion doesn't align with theirs.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was sad. Let's just leave it at that.
It's a horrible disease.
So, I don't know what I think about panspermia. I don't know if I would say the entire planet can be based on panspermia.
It's theorized that water was introduced to Earth
through comets.
Through comets. It could be.
Yes. I think that I still think we're in a petri dish in someone's AI project. Yeah, like 3rd grade science fair. They got a C-.
Yep, like Cartman when he had the water monkeys.
Yeah.
And they went to war against each other for the worshipping of Cartman. That's what we are.
Could be.
But panspermia is if we could time travel, I think to time travel back to see the origination of everything. That'd be key.
I don't know if there is a specific origination. I think that you could travel back to the origination of, perhaps us, but it has to go much further.
There has to be a start.
But, yeah. What would that look like?
I don't know. You've got the Big Bang, which is, it's crazy. Crazy thought. Just my mind can't even, I can keep up with the outside of, like if you're reading a book about the Big Bang,
mm-hmm.
I can read the number on the corner of the page. That's as far as I can get. I'm not smart enough to go deeper, but I think it's an interesting, thought project.
So many case studies have been done that I think it's enough for us to recognize that some of the bacteria could, maybe not all, but that some could have originated from outer space.
Or it could have been a mixing.
Yes. There was
maybe there was plant matter, but independent life was a mixing of space bacteria.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a cool band name.
Space Bacteria.
I know. Man, they'd wear those cool wraparound shades that are real thin and lots of bandanas.
So one of the case studies is a meteorite originating from Mars known as ALH 84001.
Say that 3 times fast.
I know. Was shown in 1996 to contain microscopic structures resembling nanobacteria.
Mm-hmm.
On May 11th, 2001, two researchers from the University of Naples found viable extraterrestrial bacteria inside a meteorite. And they only deemed it extraterrestrial because it matched nothing on Earth.
What do you do when you find that?
But it's alive.
You find that, you wipe your brow, you walk over, clock out, go home, and drink all the scotch?
I don't know, but an Indian and British research team.
Do you high five and say, yeah, I'm not freaked out now?
Yeah. In 2009, at an Indian astrobiology research center, found that there were 3 microorganisms captured during the balloon experiment, and they did not exhibit any adaptations from Earth. So it's in our atmosphere.
So a meteorite could hit us, kill us, and also carry our replacement.
And carry us to another place.
And then carry tardigrades to another place, so the tardigrades in a million years can be us.
So there are so many case studies.
And what if that planet has like a red sun? So we turn out green.
Yes.
And we're green, but we don't have
hair. And we have
hair.
leathery skin.
Yeah, we have leathery skin, but our eyes are real big because that red sun's not as bright. And sound travels different, so we don't talk as much, so our mouths are tiny. And we have suction cups on the tip of our fingers.
Because the landscape is
because of all the debris, and when we pick our nose, we really got to get in there. And yeah, and then there we go, grays. Problem solved. We got it.
Yeah. Got it.
I ran away with that a little too much.
Clear as mud. I think it's so much to think about. It's almost as big to think about this as it is to think about AI. Or the
Dyson sphere.
The Dyson sphere. Or, I mean, honestly, I think the problem we face when we consider these type of hypotheses is that we didn't get that 1% of the secret sauce. We didn't get 2%.
Honestly,
we only got 1.
I think that we're a step in evolution to something different.
Have to be.
I honestly think we are.
We have to be.
And I don't even think that next step is going to be the intelligent one, the supreme. I think that evolution's going to keep moving. Joe Rogan's talked about, he thinks that we're a step in evolution towards AI. We're going to create AI and therefore be a step in evolution towards it. And that may be too.
Ooh, because then you could literally cease to exist while still existing.
Or seriously cease to exist. Like everything. If AI, if machines unfettered itself from biological life and was able to self-evolve, it may decide there's no need for biological life. Biological life consumes in a way.
But what if that's the true birth of us?
And has too much need to reproduce and everything else. And yeah.
Because, I mean, it depends on what you consider to be life. Do you consider to be life like the skin suit that we're wearing with all of the community of cells in it? Or do you consider life to be the energy that's created by the life and death and combustion of all of those cells within our skin suits?
I don't know. I guess and my opinion may be different than the opinion of AI.
And what if inside my community of cells is a planetary structure that's considering me as panspermia?
So you're the Dyson sphere.
Yes. What if we're all Dyson spheres?
And then inside of that's another one, and just keep going.
And the cells that are inside my body are trying to figure out the universe with which it resides.
So how you build a hall of mirrors is...
It's too much. Because what if AI is true birth? It is the release of the physical form to be just energy.
Hey, they may invent I doubt it'll be in our lifetime, but invent a way to take our memory, our essence, not our essence, I mean, I'm eau de toilette, but take us, our thoughts, our memories, our desires, our wants, put it into a computer, a robot, a whatever. And then you live on in that. I think that's,
What if it's not housed, is what I'm saying. What if it just is? And
like
by quantum
Wi-Fi?
entanglement, it just is.
I don't know.
It's just released from anything that holds it to a physical form.
Ghosts are just the memory of quantum entanglement?
What if ghosts are quantum entanglement and we are just viewing it?
How come I never see ghosts?
I don't know.
See, I have no fun apparitions of that stuff.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Panspermia.
It could go in any direction.
Well, I think if it goes at all, you have to go in all directions. You can't just say, "Yep, came from a comet," because that's too limiting.
I still like the idea that the Greys have a trebuchet on a space station.
Doing punkin' chunkin'.
Right? They're punkin' chunkin'. They dress up in costumes. They have teams like BattleBots. They wear like army helmets that are ill-fitting and got the danglies hanging. And they say funny things, and then they do an interview and high five and call each other out and have a whole community, and afterwards they go drink space beer.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you to create a one-off print that will only be printed one time of
An alien
Gray's Punkin' Chunkin' Festival.
Okay, alien punkin' chunkin'.
Yeah.
All right, digging it.
Okay, thanks for
All
joining.
right. Yeah, thanks for joining.
Like, share, rate,
Yeah.
review.
Subscribe. Send us your stories if there's good things you've got going on. Any good news stories, we like those. We were thinking we had a lot of fun with that story of the guy who got mauled by mauled is the wrong word. Who was molested by Bigfoot.
Pedophilic Bigfoot. Well, no, because it was a guy. It was
Yeah,
an adult.
yeah. Rapey Bigfoot. Rapey
Yeah.
foot. Now, that came from not a legitimate news source, but it was a fun story.
That's a great story.
Let us know if you guys like those ones, because I kind of wouldn't mind just covering what's going on in any of those onions and all that.
And I would challenge you, like these fake news outlets, create a story.
Yeah.
Send it to us.
Yeah.
Let's
Maybe-
hear it. Let's
Maybe
hear
we
it.
do some creepypastas type stuff.
The avant-garde of our listeners.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, thanks for joining us. It's a good show. It's a fun show. It's an easygoing show.
Yeah.
Didn't have to. I don't need to shower now.
That's right.
I can go do other things.
Like, think about panspermia.
Yes, but next week, gonna need to shower.
Ay, ay, ay. All
Thanks
right.
for joining us.
Have a great week.
Bye.